Happy New Year everyone, Johnny here with Always PC, bringing you a $585 after rebates budget PC build parts list for your gaming needs in 2016, capable of doing 1080p at 60 frames per second smoothly without any issues. Building a PC on a budget allows you to seek for the most bang for your buck components for the quality you are seeking. Mid $500 to $600 may not seem as a budget for a PC, but the components in this build ensure that you are able to upgrade in the future and make it of this build into a high-end build. So without further ado, here we go. For the processor, we went with the Intel i3-4130 dual-core CPU clocked at 3.4 GHz. Although not overclockable like the Pentium G3258, but due to the CPU architecture and hyper-threading, it is able to outperform an overclocked Pentium G3258 and squeeze up to 10 to 15 more frames per second from the graphics card. To cool the CPU, we will be using the stock cooler included with the CPU, as there will be no overclocking. In the future, you can swap this CPU with an i5-4690K and get a all-in-one liquid CPU cooler. Because we are not going to be doing any overclocking of the CPU, for the motherboard we went with the ASRock Z97 Anniversary Edition. This is a very basic motherboard with the most basic specs, enough for running a gaming PC, and does handle CPU overclocking easily in the future if you wish to do so. With one PCI Express 3.0 slot for our GPU, USB 3.0 port and SATA 3 connectors, this is probably the best bang for the buck motherboard for the Haswell architecture. This motherboard will support an i5-4690K and overclocking it. For RAM, we went with two 4GB Crucial Ballistic Quartz RAM sticks clocked at 1600 MHz. 8GB of RAM will be more than enough to play the latest 2015 gaming titles and upcoming titles in 2016. For the storage, we went with a 1TB Hitachi Ultrastar HDD to be your main drive for your Windows and be a gaming library. At this budget, an SSD would not be very practical and functional, but it will be a definite upgrade for this build in the future. For the GPU, we went with a Gigabyte R9 380X Windforce Edition. This card was released towards the end of 2015 by AMD in order to fill in the gap between the R9 380 and the R9 390. It's more than capable of doing 1080p 60 frames per second on high to ultra settings on all the gaming titles and recent gaming titles, as you can see from the chart on the screen now. These benchmarks were provided by Hardware Unboxed, link to the video in the description box below. For 2016, well-optimized upcoming gaming titles will have no problems running with this GPU, so just have that in mind. For the power supply, we went with an EVGA 600B 600 watts 80 plus bronze power supply. EVGA is a reputable brand and their power supplies are assured high quality products, and this one is no exception. And in order to hold all of these components, we went with a Cooler Master N300 ATX mid tower case. This case has great airflow with two 120mm fans at the front, one 120mm fan at the back, and two 120mm fans on the right side of the case. Great GPU clearance, and it also supports an all-in-one liquid cooler up to 240mm. So guys, thank you for watching this video. The links to the PC build are included in the description box below, as well as all other benchmarks and charts. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos, and drop a comment on what you think of this video. Happy 2016 guys.